Okay guys, Noel and I just finished a training session, and it was my last training session before my meet. I'm super excited, and I told you guys in the beginning of the workout that Noel has also done powerlifting competitions, but she's also a bikini competitor. Her and I both get like a ton of questions on what the differences are, what's more difficult, what we like better, stuff like that, and we're going to answer them now. So I'm gonna move on and talk about training. So what are the differences in the prep? You guys have seen, if you guys have been following me for my bikini prep and this powerlifting prep, you've seen that like it's clearly very different. Some people can and should keep in powerlifting movements like squatting and deadlifting when they're prepping for a bodybuilding competition, because that's going to keep your training volume high, that's going to keep your strength high, that's going to maintain your muscle mass. But towards the end of a caloric deficit, towards the end of a diet, your energy is really low. So you guys see people shredded on stage, their energy is like very low at that point. So you're actually pretty weak in comparison to at the end of a powerlifting prep, you're like your strongest you possibly could ever be. So it's completely opposite in terms of your training. So bodybuilding, you're going to be doing a lot of isolation movements, you're going to be doing a lot of muscle-mind connection, you're going to be doing dumbbells, machines, you're going to be doing barbells as well, but you're going to want to be pushing blood into your muscle, and the training is just very different. So it's bodybuilding style. You're just not focusing on powerlifting and getting strong. Like, you want to keep your strength as much as possible, but you're not focused on getting stronger. Like, you're focused on maintaining your strength. Yeah. Do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, like when we were talking about once before, is that really the differences between the training, it's not drastically different, but what you're more so focusing on is bodybuilding is a lot more like accessory movements, more higher volume, lighter intensity. Intensity is like weight that you're actually pushing. And then with powerlifting, you're more so focusing on strength, the big three. There will be sometimes accessory movements in there, but even with powerlifting, sometimes like it gets so taxing because the intensity is so high, which is the weight that you're pushing, that sometimes I found in my prep that I was literally like not doing the accessory movements. So that's really the difference, is you're more so like physique focused, and you know, just trying to like maintain strength. And then powerlifting, you're just putting on strength and really focusing on strength. And both preps are like taxing, but in different ways, I've noticed. Like powerlifting prep, you're tired and fatigued because your training is so heavy. Then with bodybuilding, you're tired and fatigued because you're in a caloric deficit and your body doesn't have enough calories to like function fully. So that's the main difference, but they're both very taxing and very difficult. So leading up into meet day, some people do it a little bit different, but you're tapering down your training because come meet day, you want to be like the strongest possible, obviously. So just like Amanda had today, she had like her test day for her opener, so it wasn't nothing too crazy, because obviously you don't want your openers to be very like doable, and you don't want to bomb out, which is when you don't get any of your openers. So going in to the week of meet day, it's not really anything that you were doing like the week before, like high intensity and stuff like that. You're more tapering the volume down, you're tapering the intensity down. And I would say like between the two, why I like powerlifting more is because in both of them, just like Amanda's saying, and you just have to work so hard for both. And now that she's like gonna do her first like powerlifting meet, she was like saying, dude, like it's so taxing, almost more taxing than bodybuilding, because bodybuilding, it's more like you're low energied, and I wouldn't say it was like as taxing as powerlifting, but
yeah, like training. You
work so hard for both, and I love how powerlifting isn't subjective. That's the main thing for me, because for me, like I'm very mentally strong, and you just have to be mentally strong going into a bodybuilding show. Reversing back from it, and just like depending on your placing, because you work so hard. And then I feel like with powerlifting, you get more out of it at the end of the day. Like after the meet is over, you just feel better, and it's also a really good way to be excited about the gym every single day, because you can physically see yourself progressing every single training session. Like it's great. But again, I cannot say I don't love bodybuilding as well, because we were just talking about it. Like if neither of us compete, we love competing. Clearly, like we both competed in both bodybuilding and powerlifting. We really like competing, and we like going to those extremes, but if we were to just live in the gray area forever, we would both incorporate both like 1000%.
100%. Like, I love doing powerlifting movements and also incorporating bodybuilding movements, but like, I need both.
Yeah.
I can't just have one or the other.
We need the strength and we need the body pumps.
Yeah. We need the pump, and we also, like, we need to be like bro, but we also need to be like strong and like badass, you know? So we're gonna do half of the questions on my channel. So if you guys are seeing this, we put the other half of like the talk that we just did on Noel's channel, and then yeah, make sure you guys go check that out if you haven't watched it already.
All right, guys, so we just did half of the questions on Amanda's channel, so I will link her. Make sure you go check her out. She's freaking awesome and you'll learn a lot. And then half of them are gonna be on my channel. All right, guys, this is gonna be the end of the video. Or no, wait, what?
What's my thing? You're still clearly in bodybuilding world.
I know, literally.
Prep brain.
Seriously. Okay. All right, guys, so that's gonna end this vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. That is a video that I wanted to get out there. Me and Amanda had been talking about it in the past because it's something that I have gotten a lot of questions on. If I like bodybuilding better, if I like powerlifting. So I hope that was informative, and I hope that you got a lot from that. Again, if you have any questions, comment below, and give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you aren't already. All right, love you.
Bye, guys.